Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel. I thought I would have a little fun creating today. I had a cool idea for a scrapbook layout. I was actually cleaning up my scrapbooking space and sorting through and organizing some things, and I was just getting distracted by all the cool things I was finding. I found some of my Welcome Gnome collection in my stash. This is an older Creative Memories collection. I had some of the embellishments left over. I also had some of the bits and pieces from a card making kit. Still had some stickers, and I thought, you know what, let's create a really cool gnome theme layout. This would be perfect for Christmas. You could create this from, a Christmas collection. You don't necessarily, have to use the same collection I'm using if you have this in your stash as well. I also have some Border Maker cartridges that I'm going to work with. I've got the Rustic Fence Border Maker cartridge. This is still available. And I also have the Grass Border Maker cartridge, which unfortunately isn't still available, but you might have one in your stash or, something similar. I did actually create a few years ago a really cute Christmas themed gnome layout. The instructions for that are actually still available on my website, so I will link that directly below this video. But the way I'm going to create my gnome for today, it is a different technique to what is featured on those instructions. So I'm going to make a larger sized gnome. So I'll just sit these to the side. I actually already started making my layout, and then I thought, you know what, I want to share this with everyone. So I flipped my camera on. So I have actually already put my background page together. So I selected the navy blue paper that had the cute little mushrooms and toadstools. And what I've done is I've cut, this is Firecracker Shimmer, and I've cut it to 10 inches by 10 inches. And then I've cut a piece of bright white cardstock to 9.5 by 9.5. I wanted to have a double frame effect there in the center of my background page, purely because I just wanted to break up the color a lot, just to have that buffer. It's a very busy pattern, so by having the two colors there, it's just going to help that center stand out a little more. You don't have to adhere these directly over each other. You can remove the center from the base paper and that red tone to conserve your supply. That's completely up to you. But that's the measurements that I use to prepare that background page. So I can get started and share with you all how I'm going to make my gnome. Now in my little tray here, I've got my smallest circle custom cutting system template. I've also got the smallest two ovals, and I've also got the diamond from the gemstone custom cutting system templates as well. And we're going to be working with our red and our green cutting blade today. So to start with, we're going to cut the body of our gnome. Now you don't see a lot of this, but it does act also as an anchor point for our gnome, for attaching the hat and the beard and everything else. And I'm using my second smallest oval template. And I want to work with this beautiful pale blue stripe paper. So I'm just going to make sure that I get it nice and straight on that paper. And I'm going to just cut one using my red blade on that outside track. And this oval will sit vertically, so take that into consideration if you are using a printed design. So I've cut the oval. I'm going to bring in my 12-inch trimmer, and you want to cut about 1 inch off the bottom of this oval. So just line that up just by eye as best you can, making sure you've got it nice and straight. And I'm just going to cut through and remove that bottom inch to give us a straight edge. Now this is just a small detail, but I'm just going to use my scissors and just round those bottom two sharp corners just ever so slightly, just so that it's not too, you know, straight across on that bottom edge. Next, I'm going to bring back in my 12-inch trimmer, and you need to select a piece of paper that you are going to see both sides of it, okay? So I want to work with this navy blue check, and I'm going to see just the smallest amount of this pattern as well. And you need to cut a strip that measures 3.5 inches wide, which I think my strip already is, and you want to make it 5.5 inches long. So I'm just removing that little bit. Now, once you've done that, I'm just going to line it up square on my cutting mat, and taking a pencil, I'm going to mark up 1 inch from each bottom corner. So just a light pencil marking there, up 1 inch, like so. And I'm just going to rotate it. I'm going to mark it at halfway on that other short edge, and that will be at the 1.75 inch marking. So I've marked at 1.75 inches at the top, and then I've marked up 1 inch from each bottom corner. From there, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to line up that center pencil marking at the top there with our inch marking down the bottom, and we're going to cut through and remove that corner like so. I'm going to rotate it, and I'm just going to do the same thing. Align the 1 inch mark here with that center marking we made at the top, and remove that corner. And this is the shape that you're going to be left with. I think it's pretty obvious that that's resembling our gnome's little hat. So I'm just going to take the top point here, and you just want to fold it backwards and out to the side. And it doesn't matter, you know, how far you come down with that, but just so that you can see a little bit of, you know, that reverse side of the paper, like so. I'm just going to add a small amount of adhesive there, just to stick that in place. So that will be, you know, how that looks for you. Next, I'm just going to bring in some white cardstock. Now I've got the bright white cardstock, and I'm going to bring in our little diamond shape template. We only need to cut half, so I'm just going to align that on a nice straight edge. You need to make sure that your cardstock has a straight edge, and just lining that up at halfway. And then with my red blade, I'm just going to cut around that inside track again. Like so, as you can see there. Okay, so next I'm going to take my smallest circle template, and I'm just going to cut one circle from the inside track with my red blade. So that's going to be the little pom-pom that goes on the end of your gnome's hat. Okay, next I'm just bringing in another contrasting piece of designer paper, and I'm going to switch out my straight blade for a scallop blade. And from this paper, I want to cut a 1 inch wide strip of paper to go along the base of my hat. So to kickstart that scallop pattern, I'm just trimming away a very thin strip. And to make sure that we get the same scallop shape on both edges of paper, I'm just going to turn it over and cut that at 1 inch wide. Like so. And that ensures that, you know, our scallops are exactly the same. just remove that blade so I don't forget and then cut something with a scalloped edge that I don't mean to do. It has happened before. And this is going to be stuck along the bottom edge of my hat. So once you've got that stuck down in place, I'm just going to flip it over and cut away the excess at the side of the hat there, like so. Next, I'm going to bring in some soft pink cardstock, and with my smallest oval template and my green blade, I'm just going to cut one oval, and this will be a nose. So just one. That's all we need of our green blade for now. So we've got our pink, and I've just got some scrap black cardstock here, and I'm going back to my second smallest oval template and my red blade, and we're just going to cut one from the inside track. Now to begin with, you're going to want to place your hat directly over the top of your beard, like so. And just get that adhered into place. You're not going to need a lot of adhesive, just a small amount on that edge, and stick over the top of the white beard like so. Once that's in place, next I'm going to just do a little bit of fringe cutting. I'm going to bring in my smaller scissors because they have the pointier tip on these. I'm just going to take my circle and I'm going to just freehand fringe cut all the way around. It doesn't have to be perfect. Don't stress if you accidentally remove a little piece. Just making my way all the way around like so. Then once you've done that, I'm just going to remove little pieces here and there all the way around like so. Again, nothing's too specific, it doesn't need to be. This is going to be our little pom-pom for on top of the gnome's hat, or on the edge of the tip, so to speak. And I'll actually get that stuck into place with foam squares, like so. And that can be stuck to the end there. Okay, next we're going to do a little bit of fringe cutting on our beard. And again, just the same thing. I'm going right up to the base of that yellow strip that we put in place, or the gold strip I should say. Doesn't need to be, you know, perfect with widths. We're just making our way up towards the base. Okay, and then with a similar technique that we used for our little pom-pom up the top, but just go in and do a bit of gnome scaping on the beard there. I'm just removing little points here and there just to give our beard a bit of texture and dimension. Like so. You don't need to go too crazy with that. Okay, so once you've got that completed, then we can get our little nose in place. I'm again going to use some foam squares for that, just so it sits out a bit. We're going to place our nose just at the base of our hat, like so. I've got confetti everywhere here. It's the downside of fringing and point cutting like we did. Get rid of all that confetti. Okay, so we're left with the body. We've got this black oval, and then we've got our gnome's head here. That just needs to be attached over the top of the body like so. So I'm just going to come in with my adhesive and get that into place. Like so. And then with our final little oval, what you can do there, oh, I didn't do a very good job of cutting that. I've got a little tag on that. There we go. We're going to cut through it through the widest width, so through the length of the oval. So you've got two halves like so. So these are going to be your feet. So I'm going to just add a little bit of adhesive along the base of my gnome's body there. And you want to get them centered if you can, and just leave a little space between his feet, but stick them down into place. Get them nice and straight, of course. I don't think I'm very centered there at all. This is why I use repositionable tape, so I can move things if I need to. Like so. And we've got one very cute gnome. I'm just going to bring in my stickers because I think we can add to this little character. And I'm actually just going to add a little flower to the center of his pom-pom up there. And I'm actually just going to tuck under the band there of his hat just a little mushroom cluster, because he's going to be a little garden gnome on my layout. Like so. Now I'm going to bring back in my background because we're going to add a funky little border to the base for our little gnome to sit over the top of. Now I'm going to work with this lighter green paper, and this is where I'll bring in my border maker system with the grass border maker cartridge that I spoke to you about at the start of my video. Now, border maker cartridges obviously need the border maker system in order to be able to work. So I'm just going to slide that into the housing unit till it clicks. And then we can add our paper into the arms of the border maker system. Like so. And we are going to have to cut this down to the width of our background. But I'm just going to punch all the way along. So it's just a matter of putting those nodules into the bracket there where the paper is and punching all the way along. Now you could use these little offcuts perhaps on a card or on some gift tags, so you know, don't throw those away if you've got other projects that you think you can use those on. Now, as you can see, I need to cut away from my paper to create the border. We've got our fantastic little grass punched edge, and that's going to sit, you know, on the background of our page there. I think I'll cut it to a 2.5 inch width. Doesn't have to be exact, but I think if we go 2.5, actually, you know what, let's go 2.75, thereabouts, like so. And because I know that this is a 9.5 inch width, that white cardstock base that we've put into place, I'm going to cut this down to 9.5 inches. So that way we know it's going to fit perfectly on our background width there, like so. So I've got my grass in place. Next, I'm going to swap out the grass border maker cartridge and put in the rustic fence till that clicks. And I'm going to bring in some hot fudge cardstock for this and punch the fence from the hot fudge cardstock. So it's just the same thing, inserting that into the border maker system. You can do so many creative things with these tools. And I'm just going to punch my fence out. And this is going to layer over my grass. So we are going to have to cut this away from the cardstock. And we're also going to have to cut the width like we did for the grass so that it's going to fit our background. So just get rid of all of that confetti. I can bring in my 12-inch trimmer. And I am going to also layer a border sticker. So, you know, doesn't really matter the width that you're cutting at the bottom of this fence. So I'm actually going to leave something to anchor that sticker to. So I've probably allowed, I don't know, 1/4 of an inch on that base. So, oh, actually we need to cut down, already forgot, cut down our length to 9.5. So just using that straight edge in our 12-inch trimmer and cutting that down to 9.5 inches, which will layer over the top of our grass, like so. And then I absolutely love this mushroom or toadstool border sticker. So I'm going to layer that over the base of the fence. So we're just going to be adding that dimension to our page. So first things first, I'll stick down our grass border. Now this, remember, we kept this at a 2.75 inch width, and I think that's going to be perfect for layering these other elements over the top, like so. Next, I'm going to come in with our rustic fence border that we cut, and that's just going to sit just below the top of that grass top edge there. So again, a little bit of adhesive to our strip, and we can get that into place. Now I am going to have to cut my mushroom sticker as well. I'm going to just put a straight edge on one end here so that it's balanced, like so. And then just using my cutting mat, I'm going to measure that at 9.5 inches and just cut through the sticker before we actually get it stuck onto our page. And that way we know it's the right width, and both sides will have a straight edge. It will just match up a whole lot better. And that will just sit across the bottom edge there of our fence. And that gives us our layered border. Now just for a little pop of colour across that top, I think I'm going to add this little garland sticker. I think it's really sweet. And I'm just going to do the same thing there. I'm just going to measure that on my cutting mat. Make sure we get it at 9.5 inches, the same size. I'm just going to put a little pencil marking where I need to cut and cut that through. And then I'm going to add that to the top of our page. like so. So we've got our little garland. We can bring back in our little garden gnome, and he can sit, you know, wherever you want him to sit. I think I'll put him to the right hand side here of our page. It's up to you whether you want to add any further embellishments to him. I could probably add another little flower here, layered flower sticker to the base of our little mushroom there. Again, I'd love to see him made from Christmas themed paper. I think that would be super cute. But I'm going to go ahead and stick him into place. In that bottom right hand corner of our page. It doesn't matter if his little pom-pom overhangs the frame a little bit, because you want to have plenty of room for your photos. Like so. Okay, so I've cut some little photo mats to size. I've cut a larger one to measure 5.25 by 3.75, and that means my photo will be 5 by 3.5, and it's going to slot in behind my grass border there. And then I've got two smaller size, 3.25 by 3.25 photo mats, and my photos will be 3 by 3. I'm going to tuck one slightly behind my gnome's little hat there, and the other next to it. You could, you know, make your photo sizes to whatever suits you and what you're documenting. This is the size that's going to suit me. I just want to talk about the tab punch. This is still available on the Creative Memories website. In my opinion, if there was a Creative Memories product that was a part of your staple collection, you know, alongside your scissors, your 12-inch trimmer, and all the everyday things that you know you need, this punch would be it for me. I just find it the most handy embellishment that you can add to your scrapbooking. You can add dates to it, which is what I love to do. You could add, you know, a little quote sticker. You can add, you know, a little title heading beside your photos. It can be used decoratively as a space filler, but in my opinion, this is the punch that, you know, I use all the time on the majority of my layouts. So I'm just going to punch one from this gold paper because I want to just, you know, carry on a little bit more of this colour on my layout. So I'm just going to punch one, like so. And you can fold that in half. And I like to adhere mine together just with a little bit of adhesive tape. Now I'm going to add mine to the top of my main photo there, just peeping out. But first of all, what I like to do is I like to add one of the little journaling stickers to the top so that I can add a date stamp or write the date, you know, for my photos on that. So I'm just going to measure the length I want and cut that away. And then that can be stuck over the top of this little tab. And that is where I will be adding the date. So I can stick that down like so. I just love the effect that gives to a layout. And as I said, there are so many wonderful ways that you can use that embellishment, that punch. I'm going to add a little sticker behind it, fun this way. And I'm just going to add some little title stickers down the bottom here. I might add this first one with some foam squares just to elevate that a little. my happy place, and then there's gnome body like you below that. So to complete my layout, I've just added a very cute mushroom sticker coming out the side of my photo at the top, as well as a little snail sticker with some foam squares over the top of my border. I hope you've enjoyed seeing this layout come together. As I said at the start of the video, it's amazing the cool stuff you find when you clean up. So I was glad that I cleaned up and was reorganizing my scrap space because I completely forgot about this collection. I do hope you give a little gnome a try for yourselves. I would love to see Christmas gnomes. So if you do make some, be sure to tag me on social media, paper_sweetpea, because I would love to see your creations. But for now, take care, and I will see you again very soon. Bye.